Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone to our weekly session on the Sri Ishopanishad. And the last Sunday we started with this book, this particular book of Srila Prabhupada. We started discussing, and we covered briefly the introduction and the invocation mantra that So how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how the absolute truth, how the Ishwara is complete, and whatever he has created is also complete. And during the introduction, we discuss about the authority of Vedic wisdom. We'll do a quick recap of what we spoke last Sunday, and then we move forward. so, so we discussed last Sunday about the different the different authorities, and we have Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya. So the whole Vedic literature is bifurcated between these three broader categories. And in the Shruti, we have Vedas. Vedas have multiple meanings. One simple meaning of Veda means knowledge. Veda, some people very restrictive meaning. Some people mean Veda means, so for some people Veda means those four Vedas and nothing else. So for some, that's very restrictive understanding of the word Vedas, and a very liberal, very generic understanding is knowledge. The literal meaning of the word Veda is know, know, the knowledge. Any kind of knowledge is also can be known as Vedas. And Prabhupada used this term to broadly refer to as the Vedic literature. Now, it just doesn't include those four Vedas, but also includes varieties of other literature that has been documented by Srila Vyasdev. And so that's included in the Shruti. Shruti is what has been heard. So these are revealed verses. These verses are revealed. This knowledge is revealed by Lord in the heart of Brahma, who is the original recipient of this knowledge, and who transmitted this, relayed this same knowledge to his disciple, to his four Kumaras, to Narada, and so on and so forth. And in the same disciplic succession, this has been being passed on to the newer other disciples. So that knowledge is heard, and that's why it is known as Shruti. But predominantly, it was recited by the Guru and heard by the disciples who would sit next to the Guru, and they would then become Guru. They grow up, they become Guru, and they will teach others. And considering the supreme, the length of life was different. The level of intelligence was very, very high, and therefore this was going on like this. This is how the knowledge was being transferred from one generation to another. However, come Dwapar Yuga and the beginning of Kali Yuga, that towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, the beginning of Kali Yuga, when Vyasadeva, Lord appeared as Vyasadeva, the Sahitya of Lord is Srila Vyasadeva, and he documented, because as the Kali Yuga will come and it will progress, the life expectancy of people will reduce. The buddhi, sumanda, and the people will become lazy, and people will become, unfortunately, unintelligent. So, the need. So whatever they hear now, they will forget the moment. So whatever we hear generally over next 1.5 hours, 2 hours, very little of it we can recall, unless we see the slides again. That therefore we again circulate the slides, we again circulate the recording links, so that if somebody can find some important points being made in some sessions, they can recap those points. And that's why we are also recapping what we discussed last Sunday, because our buddhi is small, our intelligence is very little. We call it Kali Yuga buddhi, pigeon brain. Pigeon seems to be, it is said that pigeons have very little brain, practically no brain as much as. So it's we all Kali Yuga people have pigeon brain. So we also have very little memory. And whatever we have is cluttered with so much nonsense that the Vedic knowledge to go inside, find it difficult. There's no space inside. So that's why the struggle. So the word Vedas means Vedas includes the Samhitas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. And one of the important Upanishad is Sri Ishopanishad. We'll look at a list of 11 important Upanishads, which often are quoted by various acharyas or also by Prabhupada in his purports. So we'll take a look at that list also. The next is Smriti. Smriti means what has been heard, and what has been understood, and then that has been transmitted. So, so Smriti is documented. The whatever Vyasadeva wrote is called Smriti Puran. So that's why Ramayana, Mahabharata, 18 uh, uh, the 18 Puranas, the Sthala Puranas, Bhagavad Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are all itihasas that are classified as itihasas. So Puranas and itihasas which are there, these are all documented histories by different personalities and predominantly by Srila Vyasdev, but by different personalities. Like Ramayana was documented before Vyasdev wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So elaborately by other sages. So the Smriti, that is for Smriti. And Shruti and Smriti predominantly talks about the same thing, but whatever was heard is repeated in Smriti. Whatever was heard in Shruti is repeated in Smriti, so that the knowledge is cemented. It's not lost, it's cemented. Nyaya is Vedanta Sutra. That's a logical principle, the logical discussion that happens in the Nyaya uh, part uh, of the branch, that branch of knowledge. So what Prabhupada has given us from Shruti, Prabhupada has written commentaries, elaborate commentaries, and purports on the Sri Ishopanishad. So that's what we will be discussing. We are discussing rather. From Smriti, Prabhupada has given us Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is very special because Bhagavad Gita is direct word of God. So in that sense, it is Shruti also. So it's very special, very worldwide accepted as one of the one of the masterpiece on psychology, one of the masterpiece on philosophy. So Bhagavad Gita has very special place. Even if those people who are not devotional, not spiritual, also they accept authority of Bhagavad Gita in many ways. So it's very special. Nyaya, from Nyaya, we have Srimad Bhagavatam, which is summary of Vedanta Sutra, and it's a Vaishnava book. Bhagavad Gita is a generic book. Sri Ishopanishad and Bhagavad Gita are commented by all kind of people. Non-politicians have commented on Bhagavad Gita, and non-devotional people also have commented on Bhagavad Gita. So it's widely accepted as the philosophical masterpiece, and many people have tried exploring Bhagavad Gita in their own way for fulfilling their own purpose. But in general, Bhagavad Gita's acceptance is wider, much outside the amongst the non-devotional, non-spiritual, non-religious people also accept the authority of Bhagavad Gita. That whatever it speaks makes complete sense. Nyaya, but whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is a Vaishnava, those who accept Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead only become interested in knowing what he did when he took various incarnations, various avatar. Avatar is a better word than incarnation. the the word incarnation has the word karna in it. Now, karna, the carnivorous. Basically, the karna means flesh. The literal meaning of the word karna is flesh. And one except flesh is that's what the reincarnation means. However, the avatar, the Sanskrit word avatar has much deeper, much beautiful meaning. Avatarati iti avatar. Avatarati is what by my own sweet will I descend. Decide to come down. मैं भगवान बोलते हैं मैं आता हूँ. Not that मुझे बुलाया जाता है, मुझे बुलाते हैं, but मैं आता हूँ. I am not bound to come. However, I choose to come. And I come at my Prabhupada writes very beautifully that Lord comes at his own sweet will. कोई जोर जबरदस्ती नहीं चलती उनके ऊपर. And he wants, he comes, but he comes, and so that's why the avatar word happens, and those avatars, different avatars are discussed in the book Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is a Vaishnava book. However, Lord comes and then does many things, many wonderful things. He lifts a mountain, huge mountain. He becomes a turtle on his back. The entire mountain is kept, and not only kept, it's been twisted for the purpose of doing Samudra Manthan. And such a huge mountain, the mountain's description is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. We can't inconceivably big mountain is kept on the back of this turtle, which is nothing but Lord Himself appears as a turtle. And he feels when that churning is taking place, he's not feeling, he's not even disturbed for a moment. In fact, उनको लगता है गुदगुदी हो रही है, कुछ थोड़ी सी खुजली हो रही है, कुछ some small feeling is there. That's his potency. That's the potency of the Lord. And so those are interested, or those who are interested in Lord, they will read Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam becomes a Vaishnava book. But same Lord is also present in his abode. Yeah, in Golok Vrindavan, the same Lord is there along with all his devotees, and he's performing pastimes in Golok Vrindavan, which is his home. So what does he do? And what is it that he's thinking? So what are God's plan? Where does he live? What does he think? What does he do? And what are his innermost feelings? Those are revealed in by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his various discussions with his intimate associates like Ramananda Rai and so many others. So, and those comes through those conversations in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita and Nectar of Devotion are called Vaishnava. Are called Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. They present Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, just not Vaishnava, but Gaudiya Vaishnava. So this is the which is considered to be the topmost Siddhanta available to us today, given to us directly by Lord Krishna when he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the legacy given by Prabhupada is the sadhya is Krishna. What is the ultimate goal of life to be achieved? Everyone, all living entities, especially human beings, should attain Krishna at the end of their life, and they should direct all their activities for the same. So, how exactly that is done? By the process of bhakti yoga, by following the process of devotional service. And how that devotional service is performed is taught in nectar of devotion and nectar of instruction. And the Ishopanishad establishes that the absolute truth is a person and point towards bhakti. Bhagavad Gita establishes that the absolute truth is Lord Krishna and establishes Bhakti Yoga as the only viable mean to attain Krishna that can be followed in the age of Kali. And how exactly that is done is taught by nectar of instruction. General perception among people is that scriptures are some old books written by some old sages when they had no work to do and not really relevant. Must be intelligent sages, those who wrote those things. But in modern time, the great scientific advancement what we witness today, those are not relevant anymore. Whatever was is been written in the scripture is not relevant today. However, nothing has changed. The way we speak with each other might have changed. That about 20 years back there were no mobile phones, and we now have a mobile phone, and we can speak in much more efficient way. However, just last couple of days, I went to a place where there was no mobile connectivity at all, and it was such a blessing. Didn't miss at all. If you want to get some mobile connectivity, you have to travel 20 kilometers. So it was so blissful, no disturbance. Because our mobile carriers had no coverage, no network in that area. So it was such a blissful place. So, but uh, so that but modern time has really not changed anything in the way the universe functions or the living entities functions. In modern times, also we need sun for illumination and giving us heat and light. Similarly, scriptures are also required to give us knowledge which otherwise cannot be learned from the material world. Our learning has limitation. We have four defects. We have imperfect senses. We can't see and perceive things, which is we can see things, many things in front of our eyes which could be present, but given our current strength of our eyes, capacity to see, we can't see them. Uh, we can't smell many things. We can't hear many sound waves, and so on and so forth. So we have our senses are not perfect, and as age progresses, I'll hit 50 soon, and then grow every year. Some of the other senses will start becoming weaker and weaker. So they are imperfect. They become weaker as we grow old, and of course, some stage they will become useless completely. Second is we make mistakes. Now, the having imperfect senses was not enough, that we get mistakes also. We make mistakes also. Well, if we are counting notes, we'll sometimes count them as 99 and sometimes count them as 101. So we have to give that bundle to somebody else whom we trust so that he can count and confirm whether it is 100 exact. So we make mistakes. We don't want to, but you know, to err is human, as they say. So we get illusioned on top of it. Now, what is illusion? Illusion is we see a rope and then we think of the rope as a snake and we get scared. So this is a simple example, but we do get illusion, and often that makes our learning process very, very difficult. And the last and the most critical becomes is we have propensity to cheat. So the three are our conditionings. Those are given conditions. We can't really do much about it. But the fourth one is in our mental control. But given our surrounding, given the competitive nature of this whole world, we cheat. We cheat to look good to people. We cheat to look honest. We cheat to look intelligent, and whatever we want to be, we cheat to look wealthy. Whatever could be our objective, whatever we think, whatever we value in life, and we want that, then we cheat and get it. We can't if we can't get it by straight means, we cheat to get those things. So everyone has these four defects, and despite of all advancement due to these defects, we cannot obtain even proper material knowledge. It took us a long time to discover the law of gravity. Even today, many things which happens in our body, which we can't really understand, and we are still learning about our own body. To speak of learning about the whole universe, why earthquakes happens, why sometimes it rains too much, why sometimes it doesn't rain at all. Why the who keeps those star floating, why the sun rises, sun follow our calculation. We have no idea why the wind blow in a particular way, why and how a cloud can get formed, which is uh, such a masterpiece. So we can't manufacture cloud in laboratory. We can't. Digesting food is extremely complex process. We can't figure it out. If we have to do it by installing machinery mechanically, we have to install a series of factories to digest the food the way our body does it. How our body circulate blood, how our thought, which is subtle, becomes word and comes out of our mouth. We have very little idea. And we are trying to learn more by doing various kind of researches, I- but the fact is the material knowledge comes very slowly, and whatever we've learned so far has also evolved over centuries. It took us centuries to figure out where we are today. But so, what to speak of knowing about the mind, which is subtle element. What to speak of knowing about the soul, which is practically invisible to other any material. Mind can at least be perceived. The mind is called half science. Psychology is called half science. It's not so scientific people. Those who are scientific oriented people, those who consider science as God, they for them psychology is a time pass science, because they say we can't measure psychology, or we can't see mind, we can't spot mind, we can't measure mind. So what to speak of developing theories for treating mind? What we can't see, we can't treat. So for them, mind is considered, psychology is considered to be a half science. It's not science per se. However, the same mind trouble us day night, and it's been people go mad, people who get outraged, people commit suicide, people commit all kind of nasty actions. People are driven essentially by the demands of their mind. From morning to evening, they work hard for to fulfill the demands made by the mind. Not everyone is working to satisfy, to eat, to get food twice a day. Not everyone is doing that. There's a Not every criminal today is is committing crime to earn his living, to make to ends meet, to get food in the plate. No, no, that's not the case anymore. Most of the criminals, if you see, they are wealthy. But why they are then doing crime? Because of their uncontrolled mind, because of their uncontrolled desires. They are indulging into activities which are criminal in nature, not to steal rotis. There was a movie in which a police inspector is chasing a boy and he steals something. He's seen him steal something and run away, and he starts chasing him. And because he wants to stop him, but he doesn't stop. He keep running, and then he shoots a bullet and to his leg. And then when he reaches there, he see he's stealing chapatis. He said, my family is very poor. We don't have food to eat. So I'm stealing this chapati so that I can feed my parents. A very small boy, very heart touching incidents. But if you see the profile of today's criminal, but they're not doing this. They are educated people who are committing crimes, and nobody is doing crime today to get some chapatis on their plate. No, that gone are those days completely. So everyone is being tricked by their mind to do these bad things. So, but the same mind science doesn't recognize. Science have no information about. And what to speak about the soul? People can't understand how a living body becomes dead body. And if you even those who are trying to conceive babies, even in IVF or by through artificial means also, they can't figure out if they perform 100 um, experiments, only few will become successful, because that's because it's not in completely their control. They understand this much that they don't have ability to bring soul into a body, and soul comes when his own desire, by his own desire. So and soul lives also by his own desire along with the super soul. So even though no matter how much we try to think that we are creating bodies from matter, the reality is the science also understand that there is something more in this body which keeps this body moving. And when that something else leaves, scriptures tell us that is so. But when that something which is significant that leaves, the body becomes dead body. No matter how best the hospital instruments are, no matter how much qualified, how much success that the doctor has had, in front of them, the body will leave, the soul will leave, and they will have no clue. They'll say bad luck to the relatives of the patient, but and move on to another patient. So we need. So there are many unanswered questions in this universe, which are beyond the scope of modern science and technology to answer, because they are not, they don't belong to this material world. So matter science today is the matter can be analyzed by science and technology, and analysis can be accurately presented, but spirit cannot be understood by the today's science because they are not compatible with each other. Spirit and matter are opposite. So and hence we need no source. We need that knowledge to come from other source, some other source, and that source is the scripture. So God has given us this world to live, and also given us knowledge to utilize the world in a proper way and get out of this world to our real world. That is the spiritual world. That's what this information can only come from scripture. So let's take a look at overview of the whole Isopanishad. It has 18 mantras. We don't call it verses, we call it mantra, mantra 1, mantra 2. That's change you would have noticed. The invocation verse is general Vedic verse, which is used by Srila Prabhupada to as the beginning. From invocation to verse 3, the emphasis is on is the instruction is to live in harmony with Ishwara. Live in harmony. So there is a Ishwara, there is an absolute truth, there is a Ishwara, and we have to live in harmony with that Ishwara. The mantra 4 to 8 will present us that Ishwara, how to understand Ishwara. If we want to live in harmony with someone, we need to know about that person. So the verse 4 to 8 will give us some additional information about Ishwara. How Ishwara can be understood by developing spiritual vision. Mantra 9 to 11 is we talk about Vidya, Vidya and Vidya. That we have to cultivate right knowledge. That is right Vidya. And so, what is right Vidya and what is wrong Vidya? Uh, that will be spoken in the verses 9 to 11, 9, 10, 11, 3 set, and then 12, 13, 14 is another 3 set of verses, very beautiful verses, which will take us talk about right and wrong kind of upasana, the worshipping of the Ishwara. And in mantra 15 to 18, we'll talk about the prayers, the yachana that we make to that Ishwara and to reveal himself. We will understand, we will know about that Ishwara only when he reveals, he chooses to reveal himself to us. We cannot know that Ishwara by our own means alone. We have to become qualified enough so that mercy, taking mercy on us, causeless mercy upon us, that Ishvara will choose to reveal himself either directly or through his disciples, through his devotees. So that's what the whole overview of Ishopanishad is. Very beautiful, very enchanting text of verses, and very beautiful meanings also, and a very beautiful purpose written by our own Srila Prabhupada for our learning. So the first section, we'll talk about the first section, that where the focus is on living in harmony with Ishvara. And so the invocation verse we discussed earlier, where we spoke about everything in this universe is perfect for its purpose. Purna Adam, Purna Idam. The Supreme Lord is perfect, and whatever He has created is also perfect. The material world is created by the Supreme Lord, and that world is also perfect. Purna Purna Mudachyate. And even if so many, it's not just one universe which has come out of this Supreme. And so many innumerable universes come out of this person, but that person is so special that he remains complete. So the material world is complete for its purpose, but it still is dependent on the spiritual, on the absolute truth, or on the Ishvara. But the Ishvara is independently perfect, completely perfect and perfectly complete. So that he's independently complete and independently perfect, but everyone else, the living entities, the material world, they are dependent on the Ishvara. They are also complete and perfect, but they are dependent on the Ishvara. That's the difference, and that will never go away. Now, so mantra 1, that what we will discuss today, we will discuss about how everything belongs to Ishvara, the ownership, the controllership aspect of our mind. That's what we will discuss today. And how we will also talk about how we should not take somebody else's quota. We should, everyone has been allotted quota and we should take that. The mantra 2 will discuss about if we live in harmony with Ishwara, we will benefit. Mantra 3 will discuss about if we live in disharmony with Ishwara, we will perish. So the for this word verse we have already discussed. Om Purna Adaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Then we'll discuss verse 1 of of Sri Ishopanishad. This is the actual verse of Ishopanishad, and it goes like uh, Isha Vasyam Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitaha Ma Gradaha Tasya Svidanam. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Ishwara, the concept of Ishwara has been brought in. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Everything animate or Prabhupada translated, he clarified further that here it is in the verse it is said that everything, but Prabhupada clarifies further that animate or inanimated, that is moving, non-moving, means which means the whole of creation that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the law. The everything animate and inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the law. This is a very important statement. We'll discuss this in more detail as we progress, but very, very beautiful verse. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. So we should not accept other things. We should not eye for other things. We should not strive to accept those things which are not in their quota, knowing to whom they originally belong to. They belong to Ishwara. So this long purport has about 11 paragraphs, and that's described, that's bifurcated in this way that para 1 and para 2, Prabhupada, the purport glorifies the Vedic knowledge. The para 3 and 4, Prabhupada says that how Lord is proprietor of everything. Then para 5, Prabhupada will take some examples of each one's quota in the nature. Now, we have a quota, what does it really mean? And then example of quota in human possessions. That's a nature and then human possession. Then 9 and 10, Prabhupada will discuss, explain the example of quota in human diet. So there's a quota for us, basically, what we should do, what we should eat, what we should possess. And there are rules. There are rules and restrictions, and there are guidelines, and there are principles around all these things. And if we don't make ourselves familiarized with them and act according to those rules, those instructions, then we will not be able to live in harmony with the Ishwara or his desire. Para 11 is will concluding para is a concluding para, live according to the, which reiterates that live according to the principles of Ishwara, Ishavasya principle, that's called. So as we spoke, Prabhupada has given a list of, this list is not given in the purport, but these are the 11 important Upanishads. Now, many of these Upanishads you will find being quoted by Srila Prabhupada in various purports that he has written for the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and as well as other books, other places wherever possible he has quoted from these Upanishads. These are different Upanishads. So Ishavasya Upanishad is one of the most important Upanishads. It's been commented by many great personalities. From our Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya has commented, Madhavacharya has commented, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has commented on it, Srila Prabhupada has commented on it. And prior to him, other many gurus from other sampradayas also have commented on it. Shankaracharya has commented. Next is Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mundafa Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taitarya Upanishad, Aitarya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranya, and Shvetasvara Upanishad. So these are 11 important Upanishads amongst 108 Upanishads. And Ishavasa is considered to be the most prominent of all. But Prabhupada, you see, Prabhupada has quoted from most of these, many of these Upanishads. So we'll dive right into the purport of given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. Jai. So Prabhupada writes that Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes through the perfect disciplined succession of spiritual masters, beginning from the Lord, beginning with the Lord Himself. So Prabhupada will establish once again the superiority of the knowledge which comes from Vedas, which is given in the scriptures. And Prabhupada has been using the word Veda or the is to include the broad Vedic literature. Just don't doesn't only mean those four Vedas, but a broader Vedic literature. So that's include Bhagavad Gita, which comes as Mahabharata, which is Itihas, which is Purana, which is Smriti, part of Smriti. It comes as then it will so that's how it so the that's how the broader concept will help us understand things in proper perspective. So Prabhupada is establishing once again in the purport also, because this is the first purport. Prabhupada is again giving the authority of Vedas and saying that this knowledge is a Paurusheya because it's not given by a person in the material world. Everyone is just repeating what they have heard. But the originally it was spoken by Lord Himself, who it doesn't belong to this world, who doesn't have any of those four defects. So we all, everyone who has taken birth in the material world has four defects, and hence we cannot obtain perfect knowledge no matter how hard we try, no matter how much is our IQ, no matter how much intelligent we think we could be, and how much achievements that we have to cite to our name. But the perfect knowledge cannot be simply attained by imperfect senses. Just like one cannot take a color picture with black and white camera. It will give you black and white pictures only. So it's impossible for us to attain perfect knowledge by our four defects. So the Vedic knowledge, which is originally imparted by the Lord into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma, in his turn, disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples who have handed it down through history. This is disciplic succession. So now knowledge traveling. In Srimad Bhagavatam also it is beautifully stated that this Bhagavatam is a paripakva fruit, and it is not just fallen from sky and crushed for after hitting the ground. No, it's been brought down by by hands. It's been very gentle, in a very gentle way. It's been brought down in the disciplic succession from previous acharyas to the current set of disciples, and it has not changed. It's only increased in its sweetness as one discusses more the Srimad Bhagavatam. So like that, the Vedic knowledge get transferred from generation to generation. Even Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Krishna says that this knowledge is being transmitted through disciplic succession, but in the course of time, it gets uh, it gets lost, and hence Lord personally comes to re-establish that lost knowledge. Nobody else can do that because it's not in anybody's capacity to manufacture religion, to manufacture uh, the Vedas, the supreme knowledge, the manufacture anything per se. So only everything belongs to Krishna, so only Krishna can give that, re-establish that knowledge, and therefore Lord has to reappear. As and when he sees that knowledge is getting lost, he reappears. Prabhupada gives example about the proprietorship of the Lord. So after establishing the authority of the Vedic knowledge, Prabhupada move on to discuss the actual verse where Krishna, when the mantra is saying that uh, Isha Vasya Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat, that everything belongs to the Ishwara. And here Prabhupada has quoted the beautiful verses from the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that Bhumi Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Itiyam Me Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. These eight are my Bhinna Prakriti, which are those eight things that the five Jada Tattva, that five elements of nature: earth, water, ether, fire, air, and Mana, Buddhi, and Ahankar. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar together becomes eight elements. And Krishna says they are my Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. They are my Bhinna Prakriti. They are my energies, Bhinna Prakriti. And besides this, Almighty, these are Bhinna Prakriti, and then there is a Para Prakriti. There's a Apareyam Itastva Anyam Prakritim Vidhima Param. So Param, there's another energy of mine, Jiva, which what is it supposed to do? Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. That beside these, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises of living entities who are exploiting the resources of this present inferior nature. So that living force is superior, and this the first verse, that 7.4, whatever Krishna spoke, are the five elements of nature, and Mano Buddhi Ahankar are inferior in quality. So there is a hierarchy. So there is a living entities are supposed to exploit this inferior energy for attaining their goal of life. So Prabhupada writes in the purport where para and apara prakriti are discussed, the elements of nature, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, all belongs to Krishna, Lord's inferior material energy, apara prakriti. Whereas the living beings, the organic energy is the superior energy, para prakriti. Both of these prakritis or energies are emanations from the Lord, and ultimately he is the controller of everything that exists. So I'm speaking right now. Right now, I'm speaking into this microphone. So my voice, my speech is my energy. I can speak loudly. I can control this in my speech. I can control my speech. I can speak either loudly or I can choose to speak in a very soft way, which you will not even able to hear. So my speech is my energy. Similarly, now this is separate from me. I'm sitting in one place and you are spread all over India, and you are trying to listen to this at place where you are, and we are not at all at one place. So through electronic medium, this energy is being transmitted and being delivered to you wherever you are sitting right now. So energy and energetic are different, but energy belongs to the energetic. The very fact that you find energy reaching you, you have to assume there is an energetic behind this energy. And even if I switch off my video now, you will continue to believe that there is some person on the other side of this microphone who is speaking, and who may have something to speak, and who is speaking into the microphone, which you are now able to hear on the other side. So energy without energetic is a wrong understanding of the whole concept. So that's how we should progress. We should learn from Bhagavad Gita and these scriptures, beautiful scriptures. There is nothing in the universe that does not belong to either para or apara prakriti. Therefore, everything is the property of the Supreme Being. So, apara prakriti means the five elements of nature, man, buddhi, ahankara. And Paraprakriti means the soul, the living entity. And the combination of these two things means a human body, a functioning, alive human body which is functioning. A combination of this, all this is also this clicker, this mobile phone, this laptop. Combination of this now, they don't have soul. They just, but they are different combination of five elements of nature. If we analyze this further, we will be left with those same five elements of nature in different proportions used to manufacture a laptop, manufacture a mobile phone, manufacture this table, this building, this the roads which are laid or the vehicles which are running. Everything can be analyzed and separated. If we bifurcate everything, all of those non-living things will result into five elements of nature. Ultimately, it will all lead to five elements of nature. They can be broken into those ultimately five elements. There's nothing but different combination of those five elements in different proportions, which help a building get manifested, which help this clicker get manufactured, which help this laptop get manufactured, this Bhagavad Gita book getting printed also is material manifestation. The paper that is used, the book, the scriptures differently, but in general, you can understand the point that in this universe, there's nothing that anybody owns. There's nothing for us to own, and everything belongs to Ishwara. And everything, even we are property of Ishwara. We have a wife, and you have a spouse, that spouse is property of Ishwara. And so it's not that you have that, you have children, you have spouse, you have home, everything, whatever we are the temporary caretakers. This is very important concept. Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita introduction that the enjoying mentality and the ownership, controlling mentality, enjoying and controlling mentality are the prime root cause problems of individuals, and which we must cure ourselves for. So enjoy and to control. Why control? Because we can enjoy uninterruptedly. We can enjoy. There should be no interruption, no break in our enjoyment. We can enjoy endlessly, perpetually. And to have that enjoyment, we should have sufficient control over the resources which we wish to enjoy. We don't wish to enjoy kirtan, satata kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrita. We don't want to enjoy that. Our desire is to enjoy matter, enjoy body of another opposite sex, person of opposite sex. We want to enjoy food stuff which is cooked through various spices, various ingredients. We want to enjoy in a hot summer day, we want to enjoy air condition. In a very cool day, we want to enjoy warm. And so we want to, after, if we don't have anything else to do, we want to enjoy movies. We want to, our life is boring. We want to enjoy a movie and see how interesting people live, how exciting the life of other people are who are portraying characters on the movie screen. If we get bored by that also, then we like and go and watch some sporting action. So we want to enjoy, and in order to enjoy, we want to create facility which will facilitate our enjoyment. We'll have a lot of money, then we can keep enjoying in an uninterrupted way. When the COVID came, people stuck their homes with a lot of food grains, as if COVID will never go, and we will never get to eat. Why they filled their homes with grains? Because they didn't wanted any interruption in their enjoyment. Now it was, when they argue that it was a question of survival, but a lot of people even purchased their next generation's requirement of tissue papers, tissue rolls for toilet tissue rolls in their homes. And the in US and European countries where they don't use water in the toilets, the whole stock of tissue papers, the tissue roll, toilet tissue rolls was invisible from the market because everybody simply bought it, thinking that they don't know how long they will have to live in this quarantine, and then when they will actually get to see the light of the day. And so they bought whatever they could, whoever can afford, they went ahead and bought entire stock of toilet tissue papers from the market. So this is the controlling mentality is innate within us. Control so enjoyment can go on perpetually, eternally. Alexander, he wanted to become the king of this whole earth. That's why he left his home and went on capturing countries after countries, territories after territories. So this is a tendency that we have. Uh, the scriptural logic of about this is given that how do we understand that the Krishna or the Ishwara actually owns and control is the original owner and controller. Prabhupada presented through the verses of 7.4 and 7.5. But logically also we can understand that how we are only the tenants or the temporary possessors of whatever we possess today. We possess this body. We all have seen it happening in front of our eyes when people leave their body. The bodies are being taken care of. Bodies are burned. In other religions, bodies are buried. They are not used for anyone else. They are just elements of nature as returned back to the nature in different ways. So we don't own the body. We don't own our body. We give up body and we move on to accept another body. So this home we might own today, but this own home also was owned by somebody else before I own it. And after I will leave during my lifetime or after my lifetime, somebody else will own it. And this way, after a few years, this whole building may get demolished and they may construct a 16 or 20 floor building on it. And then where I'm currently living, the fourth floor facing highway, somebody else may come and live there with no trace to my possession, my ownership. But today I own this place. So similarly, I own my children. They look like me. They talk to me nicely. They listen to me. I practically own them and I think, but no, that's wrong. Uh, we don't own any of them. We couldn't produce children unless it was permitted by Krishna. Whatever those children are also souls. As a soul, they are part and parcel of Krishna, just like how I am part and parcel of Krishna. And as a soul, they are independent. They also have free will. They have a will to listen to me, or they have free will not to listen to me. So when they will grow up, there's no guarantee that they will listen to us. So they will not. There's no guarantee that they will take care of us. So we don't really own our children. Also, we don't really own our spouses. Also, we don't really own our vehicle. Also, um, so our possessiveness is it's illusory, is an illusion. We just feel that we own it, but in reality, we are the caretaker of these properties. We are the tenants of this property. Just like a tenant is can be evicted any time from the from his home. Similarly, we are tenants of this body. We can also be evicted. We can be kicked out of this body at any time. And we call that event as death. But soul can be kicked, can be thrown out of this body anytime and any age. It doesn't have to be become 80 years to leave this body. Many people I know have left their bodies in much of their prime youth. What to do? That's what the life was, and they had to give up their beautiful bodies and move on to uh, move on with the with the karmic reactions and maybe to another body eventually. And so that's we are tenants of these bodies. We don't possess anything, we don't own anything. However, there is a great race. Much part of our life is spent in owning things and adding to those list. How many things I own, the bank balance, could be the FDs, the fixed deposit receipts, the bank balances, the properties, the cars, the people I own, the children we have, the spouse we have, so on and so forth. So the major part of our life is spent on this ownership part, which is so illusory. And so one Prabhupada writes in the purport that one should therefore be intelligent enough to know that except for the Lord, no one is proprietor of anything. One should accept only those things that are set aside by Lord as his quota. Now, this is another important concept that comes that uh, we are all, it's not that we have to attain Krishna at the end of our life, but and then when we go to the spiritual world, we will live life eternally, happy and eternal, both have the eternal happiness in the spiritual world. But that does it mean then that we live in the, as long as we live in the material world, we have to live miserably? The answer is no. Krishna, as Krishna provides for us unlimited eternal happiness in the spiritual world, Krishna also is providing for us some quota of happiness based on our karma, even in the material world. So we we will get our quota of happiness, we will get our quota of sorrow, we will get our quota of distress. This quota has been allotted to us at the time of our birth based on our past karma. Prahlad Maharaj says that you don't have to work hard for your happiness. It will come. It will come just like misery will come. Just like misery will come. So don't worry too much. Don't work up too much about these things. They will come, and they will come, and they will go also. And the what you don't like, that will also come, and even that will go. So don't become too much serious about these things. Prabhat writes in the purport that gives example of a cow. The cow gives milk but does not drink that milk. She eats grass and straw, and her milk is designated as food for the human beings. Such is the arrangement of the Lord that everyone has his own quota, and you have to take that quota alone. You have to don't have to you have to be satisfied. If she start thinking, my milk is more tastier, and as a child, as a calf, she must have drank milk from her mother, but eventually she has to start eating grass and straw and then produce milk. And that milk is not meant only for the calf. Milk is cow can give much more milk that a calf can drink, and eventually that calf has to become independent. Calf has to start eating other food, and hence the cow milk is always will always be in excess. And if she's taken care of, she's well taken care of, she can give much more. Happy cows can give much more milk than what they are given, that they will be giving right now. And so this food is not meant for some calf alone. The calf must drink, but the balanced milk can be taken by human beings. It is can be meant can come for human consumption. It can as a pura anna, complete meal for human survival. Such is the arrangement of the Lord. Thus, we should be satisfied with those things He has kindly set aside for us. And we should always consider to whom those things we possess actually belong to. Whatever we possess, even that is belonging to the Supreme Lord, the Ishwara. And whatever we don't possess anyway today, that is anyway going to be, that is anyway we should know to whom it actually belongs to. So we have a spouse that belongs to Krishna. We have children, though they belong to Krishna. We are we are temporary caretakers of them, and hence we should be we should be doing our duty towards them, duty to give them Krishna consciousness. Uh, Rishabdev says in his instructions to his sons that you should not become a father and a mother if you can't make your children devotees. You should not become father and mother. It's a waste. If you are not able to make them devotees, if you are not doing your part to make your children devotee, then such children are useless. You should not produce them. Should not produce them out of your uncontrolled sexual desires. No, that's not what the scripture recommends. Scripture says that you should, if you have children, if you have, if you are a teacher, you are a parent, you are a guru, you should not become any of this unless you have capacity to give, make your subjects God conscious, and that is our real duty. Now, example of a laborer who put together various things. Prabhupada gives this example that we may employ a person to make, and we may give him various kind of material to build a building, and then the building gets built, he doesn't claim ownership of that building. Just because he has maneuvered the matter to make that matter and constructed the building. The building continues to be of belonging to those who have provided them the matter, using which he has constructed the building. So, similarly, nothing comes by chance. A lot of people use this word that everything has been created by chance, but in reality, nothing comes by chance. Everything comes from something. We in our life we can't think of something which has come from nothing. I'll just repeat. We cannot in our life. None of us would have seen something which comes from nothing. For if there is a voice coming right now, I may switch off my video, but if you know that the voice is coming, there's a person speaking, or there's a person who has done the recording earlier, who must have spoken earlier, and that record is being played. So nothing comes by chance. Everything has a reason behind it. So there is something behind everything. So if for example, if a bridge is broken, a newly constructed bridge over a ocean or a river, suppose it gets broken, and the chief engineer or whoever who was in charge of this construction says it just failed by chance. Will that be accepted? Versus somebody is throwing a dice and he says this 6 came by chance. A bridge falling down and the engineers giving a reason that it fell by chance, and somebody is throwing a dice and the 6 coming or not coming, that is happening by chance, where the chance explanation is more logical, more acceptable.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Dandavat pranam. In the second one, obviously.
And
In the
why?
second one, why? Because there are probability, means there are very lesser probability in coming this 6 in the dice game, whereas there are almost equivalent to nil probability in breaking the bridge getting broken without any reason.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no, that's correct. So the chance, we cannot misuse the concept of chance. Chance in dice, when you throw dice, obviously there are 6 sides. So there is 1/6 chance of the 6 we getting 6 every time we throw a dice. But when we construct a bridge, we have to ensure that it is able to withstand nature, the forces of nature. It's suppose a newly constructed bridge should at least last for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, so on and so forth. So we can't give our negligence a label of chance. There it is negligence, but here it is chance. There is a almost predictable probability of 1/6 probability. Every time we throw a dice, there is a possibility of 6 coming. So chance is not an explanation always that can be given to cover up our inefficiencies and our wrongdoings. And also chance is not a proper explanation. Everything has to come from something. Nothing comes from, we don't have uh, any experience of something coming from nothing. So one that explanation is unacceptable. Prabhupada writes further that human beings are not meant to quarrel like cats and dogs. Now, Prabhupada is taking this discussion further of ownership, and he says that individual level we can understand that whatever we own actually belongs the to the Ishwara. However, at a country level, there are Prabhupada wrote this article when there was Cold War between Soviet and United States, and it was war of mentalities or philosophies, that communist mentality and the capitalist mentality. And Prabhupada writes that how Varnashram solves the problem of both the communist mentality and the capitalist mentality. Communist teachings were propagated by Soviet, and capitalist teachings, philosophy was propagated by United States. And both of them were fighting for dominance. And Prabhupada writes that we cannot, human beings are not meant to quarrel like cats and dogs. They must be intelligent enough to realize the importance and aim of human life, that what is this human form of life having given, it is important for you to understand. You should be intelligent enough, and only in human form you have that intelligence. You can inquire why you've been born, why you are suffering, and what you can do to end your suffering permanently. The scriptures are meant for human consumption. The differentiator between a human and an animal is the light, is the enlightenment that a human can get, known which is not available to any other animal. So this enlightenment, the scriptural inquiry, the athata brahma jigyasa that a human can do, and accordingly he can act, he can regulate his life and act in such a way that will harmonize his living, his actions with the instructions of the scriptures, so that he attained the goal of human life, the aim of human life. Aim of human life is to end the cycle of repeated birth and death and go back to Krishna, by going back to Krishna. And intelligent person will know this. However, Prabhupada is comparing this with those who are fighting for territorial dominance. So Vedic literature is meant for humanity and not for cats and dogs. Cats and dogs can kill other animals for food without incurring sin. But if a man kills an animal for satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste buds, he is responsible for breaking the laws of nature. Consequently, he must be punished. So we'll talk about Varnashrama very briefly, and then we will discuss how communism and capitalism that Prabhupada speak about, how how both are wrong and why they are wrong, and how Varnashram is superior. Varnashram recognizes the role of Ishwara. So in Varnashram, we have Krishna. Hope everyone can see. It's not very small, but let me read out, and so that you all can read it later when I distribute a slide. So Varnashram has Varnashram starts with Krishna. Krishna says in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita that I have set this whole society, the Guna Karma Vibhagashaya, according to the Guna and Karma of these individuals. I have arranged them in the four order of life, Varna and Ashram, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and amongst sannyasis, brahmacharis, grihasthas, and vanaprasthas. So this varnashrama is created by Krishna. And Krishna has the creator. Krishna is creator of the same, and Krishna is the controller. Since it is created by Krishna, it is perfect. And so what we'll understand, we'll try to understand how varnashram is superior to both communism and capitalism by comparing the qualities of both. So Varnashram recognizes the authority and ownership of Krishna. Krishna is the controller and owner of everything. He gives quota to individual entities, individual living entities. Be it an ant, elephant, or a human, that quota, the respective quota is determined by Krishna, and that quota is provided to them irrespective of their living condition. You might be living in jungle, but your quota is delivered to you so that you survive for whatever lifespan that is being allotted to you. So that quota is given to each entities. Also, Krishna has given the scriptural knowledge for helping humans to live in harmony with Lord's plan and attain the ultimate goal of life, attain Krishna. Brahmanas are the next in the Varnashram, are the topmost in the Varnashram. Brahmanas are called Bhudeva. They are closest to the God. They are Brahma Janiti iti Brahmana. Now they are supposed to study scriptures. Now we are not talking about Brahmanas by surname. We are talking about Brahmanas by quality, of course. गुण कर्म विभागशय, गुण भी होना चाहिए, कर्म भी होना चाहिए। वैसा जिसका कर्म खराब है वो ब्राह्मण ब्राह्मण नहीं है, ब्रह्म बंधु है। और so Brahmanas are called as Bhudevas. They are as good as God who living on the earth, planet Earth, in the material world. They are material world. They represent Krishna. They study scriptures. They are supposed to study scriptures. The scriptures are Vedesha Sarva Aham Eva Vedya Vedant Krit Veda Videva Chaham. All the scriptures, scripture injunctions are given by Krishna. Dharmam to sakshat bhagavat pranita. Whatever Krishna has spoken becomes dharma. And Brahmanas are supposed to study scriptures, study Vedas. Vedas means all scriptural knowledge, all instructions by Krishna. Hence, they are closest to the Krishna. Brahmanas are supposed to teach scriptures. Brahmanas are supposed to study scriptures, teach scriptures, and live life according to the instructions of those scriptures. Show by personal example how to live life in accordance with the scriptures. So teach scriptures to whom they will teach. They will teach to the rest of the society, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So that's why this is their role, and they have to set personal example how to live life in a self-regulated way. As we go lower in the order of Varnashram, the Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, our ability to control mind and senses reduces. Our ability, and that's what differentiate Brahmanas from rest of the community. Brahmana, animal, where this ability to control is completely missing. Animal, cat will not think of Ekadashi before catching a rat and eating. It just has no capacity to think, and within animals, there's no such capacity to think. So, but humans have that capacity. However, that capacity also gets covered by our anarthas, and therefore, by removing that anartha, by removing the covers of those anarthas, one can become purified enough to awaken one's knowledge and start regulating, controlling senses and mind. And so in the order of Varnashrama, the lowest mind control, sense control is demonstrated by Shudras. And as we go higher, it is the highest is amongst the Brahmanas, and that's primarily the differentiating factor between the Brahmana and the Shudra. No other thing. So Brahmanas study scriptures, teach scriptures, live according to the scriptures. Kshatriyas, but Brahmanas are not administrators. No, there could be examples, but in general, Brahmanas are not into the administration. So hence, they teach Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas, they become their gurus. And Kshatriyas are also called Naradevas. Brahmanas take Dakshina, Kshatriya collect taxes, they vasool karte hai, tax. And Kshatriyas are called Naradeva. They are God. They are treated as gods amongst human beings. Amongst human beings, they are considered God. So they learn from Brahmanas, then implement those instructions in the rest of the society. They use shastra or weapon to punish anybody who challenges, who does rejects the principles or the laws of God, the laws which are given by God. If anybody rejects, the authority to punish them is with the kshatriya. They also show how how they are subordinate to God, Ishwara, and Brahmanas. All of us would have seen how Narendra Modi ji went and subordinated himself to all the pujaris who were giving him instructions to fast for so many days, to sit on the ground, do this, do that, and he was subordinating himself completely. But as a prime minister, even he's their prime minister, also he has complete authority over them as a prime minister. But he willingly subordinated himself to the instructions to be given by those pandits to show, to demonstrate to the rest of the world the superiority of God, superiority of practical culture. Now, now that is reality, but challenging them is foolishness because challenging Krishna's authority, Krishna's ownership is foolish. And it is just illusion. It will take us in wrong direction. It will not allow us um, to be able to lead a successful life. So becoming subordinate to Krishna, becoming subordinate to Brahmanas who are speaking the words of Krishna, repeating what Krishna has spoken, is intelligent action. To be done by when it is done by the king, he gives message to the rest of the population that it is to be done by everyone. Others are subordinate to both Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. They are called subjects. And Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are supposed to guide the entire society in the right direction so that they live life of happiness and they are also able to be engaged in activities which are according to their psychophysical nature for which will help them earn their living and at the same time they can practice spirituality for attaining Krishna. And now we compare them column by column against communism and capitalism. The central column is Varnashram. This is what we spoke about. Now, communism talks about imposing artificial equality. Imagine there is a school, and in the class there are 50 students, and teacher is teaching, and but on the day one, teacher declares that I will teach the whole syllabus for next 6 months, but at the end of those 6 months, I will conduct an examination. And in the examination, I will give 75 marks to everyone. Now, imagine this happens, then what will be the motivation for a child who has capacity to score 100 out of 100? Because if his marks are determined on day zero by somebody, irrespective of what he has written, he will have no motivation only to do well. Similarly, if somebody who is lazy, who is not sure of getting 40 marks also, will become more lazy because now he is assured of getting 75 marks, even though he does not have capacity to get 70, 50, 40 marks also. So this artificial equality is actually extremely discouraging, and it doesn't help anybody in any way, neither those who are intelligent nor those who are less intelligent. It helps nobody, does not help the society in general. And also in the Soviet and in many other places where this communist rule was present, those who were in power, they managed to accumulate more wealth than others. Now, the resources are also limited. We can't really manually distribute these resources equally amongst everyone. So the communism is destined to fail. Versus communism is capitalism. Capitalism promotes that whoever can should get more. So if you happen to be more intelligent, more powerful, more resourceful, and then you can get more wealth. than others. Becoming wealthy is not criminal. As long as you earn that wealth through, the lawful means, that was perfectly considered to be all right. And now wealth determine the position and power that the people enjoy. Wealth only became the single parameter to measure success, and we are all suffering the capitalist mentality today, because most of you are judging your personal life based on what you are earning by other people, not by devotees, but definitely the society in general judges you with the quality of clothes that you wear, the brands that you are wearing, the perfumes you are using, the alcohol you are drinking, the vehicle you are driving, the vacations you are taking, the restaurants you are visiting for your um, parties, and so on and so forth. And all of this is linked to money, how much money you have made in your life. Uh, and that's why this is the capitalist mentality. The wealth determines your position and wealth determines your power. What it leads to? It leads to what India looks like today. There's cutthroat competition. Students in IIT commit suicide. Just somebody comes second in medical and feels that their life is a disaster. They couldn't come first. All their lives they stood first in all the exams they have given, and in the medical, if they come fourth or fifth, they get 10th rank, they go and commit suicide. There is mad competition. There's a complete mad rat race which is amongst the people. Everyone in the school, and the 10th, many students are appearing for 10th standard. Somebody may get 60% and feel as if he's drowning at the bottom of the ocean, because in his classroom everybody else would have got 90% plus or 80% plus. So there's a mad competition that gets created because now the success definition is only changed. Everyone in this such society is fearful. Everyone in such society feels unfear, insecure. They, even if they might be well placed today, they are always fearful and insecure that somebody else will come and rip them apart. Somebody else will come and take their position. So to becoming successful is also a problem. To not becoming successful is a bigger problem in the capitalism. So those who are powerful, they are in a position of power to ensure that they remain powerful, they remain in their they remain in their position, they retain their wealth, they exploit others, they become greedy, and then they exploit everyone else around them so that their position can be maintained. And that, at the end, wealthy and the poor, everyone remains in a miserable, unhappy, dissatisfied condition. Just a minute. So now compare this with the Varnashram. Varnashram integrates spiritual equality, and it integrates spiritual equality with by acknowledging material diversity. Now, spiritually, everyone is spirit soul. All living entities are spirit soul. And so that is recognized by Varnashram. That is understood by Varnashram. Varnashram is implemented by Lord Krishna and by Brahmanas under the instructions given by Lord Krishna. By Kshatriyas who work under the function under the instructions of Brahmanas. And the large population is Shudra and Vaishya population. So they are the subjects by those administrators and Brahmanas, people from Brahminical culture. So everyone is considered, there's a recognition that all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. All living entities are souls separated from Krishna. All the non-living things are also are owned and controlled by Krishna. So, so that recognition, that understanding helps us help become help comes with another understanding that materially everybody will be diverse. Materially at a material level, Everyone will have separate talents, separate skills, separate abilities, and separate level of intelligence, separate level of strength, physical strength. So there is a equality at the level of all living entities being soul and part, a separated part and parcel of Krishna. And at a material level, there is an understanding that all living entities, all human beings are different. All of us are different in our abilities. Now, by engaging everyone according to their psychophysical nature, all can function comfortably, happily earn their living, maintain themselves. Now, when you don't act according to your psychophysical nature, you create problems. Krishna says in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you should do your duty, even if in a faulty way, rather than doing somebody else's duty with perfection. Why? Because you will not, on a long-term basis, this will be unsustainable. So if a Vaishya is given a Brahminical duty of studying scriptures, all the time he will sit with the scriptures thinking how much money he would have made having he sold that book to somebody. He will his inclination to learn from the scriptures and understand and appreciate what is written in the scripture, written in Bhagavad Gita, will be very, very low. So that's the conflict that we all need to manage. We need to understand and we need to work on engage ourselves according to our psychophysical nature so that all can live happily. And at the same time, we all can practice spirituality, we all can become Krishna conscious and perfect our life by going back to Krishna. Now, Varnashram does not go in either one side of the pendulum or one side of the scale. That don't go to, there's no, it doesn't say that everyone is equal, so behave equally with everyone. A lot of times I get, or we give this example that the V and tiger both have spirit soul. At the level of soul, both are same, but by their physical nature, but their material nature is different. And we can go and embrace a cow, we can't go and embrace a tiger because of the different material nature that they possess. So at a material level, they are different. At a spiritual level, they are same, they are equal. So Varnashram recognizes this, and then Varnashram arrange society in such a beautiful way so that everyone can get to work according to their psychological nature and at the same time practice Krishna consciousness. Now, last section, Prabhupada talks about diet. Again, very important topic about vegetarianism, non-vegetarianism. We keep hearing a lot of debates in offices amongst friends that how it is okay to eat non-veg food. It's meant to be eaten, whatever, different foolish arguments we keep hearing time and again. So it's Prabhupada deal with this subject that what is the quota that is identified, that is given to the human beings to eat. All of us will have life, all of us will have life to eat, to live, and during that life we will be forced to survive by eating. So something has to be eaten. The Prabhupada elaborates about the quota in human diet, very important topic for all of us. The most people try and justify eating non-veg food mostly by saying that uh, plants also have life. So if you can kill plants, why not kill an animal? And then they give many other examples that we have this tooth, which are similar to the ones that are there in tiger or and so it's not that it's not that completely unsuitable to eat non-veg meat or eat non-vegetarian diet. Completely, it's not completely unsuitable. It may not be as perfect as that of a tiger, but it's not imperfect also. So we should eat. It is okay to eat, and that's how they justify eating flesh, the dead animal's body of another living entity. On top of it, they will give this argument that you kill plants and so on and so forth. So Prabhupada deals with that on the three levels. So there is a scientific way of of this argument of why we should not eat meat, why should we not eat non-vegetarian food, why should we not eat animals. So there's a scientific way, there's a natural way, and then there's an intuitive way of understanding that how meat eating is harmful. So the scientifically trees have less developed nervous system, hence they experience less pain compared to an animal who has a fully developed nervous system and can actually see the death coming when the butcher is about to chop them off. They feel the fear, they feel the complete all range of emotions are also experienced by all animals. And in an extremely fearful condition, when their head is being chopped off, uh, they generate a lot of unwanted juices for our bodily consumption. And extremely fearful condition, they leave their bodies, they leave the soul, leave their bodies. And in that meat, when is eaten by people, they become tamasic and rajasic completely. There's unfortunate way in which their lifestyle get developed. Uh, So in extreme pain, animals leave their bodies, and that meat, when consumed by people, leads makes their consciousness extremely degraded. So, so the trees, on the other hand, have have less developed nervous system. So the pain that they will experience is extremely low. Now, given a choice, one should always one should always choose that option where we cause minimum pain to the other living entities, and that should be our motive. And that's why the it is better scientifically. It is far superior argument that we should eat trees and plants rather than killing animals. Natural is now the crops. If you see Bhagavad Gita verse, third chapter, 12th verse, Krishna says that Annat bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. Annat bhavati bhutani, that the living entities, the bhutani, the humans are supposed to subsist on grains, and grains are produced by rains. Annat bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. Whatever is grown by rain, that humans are supposed to eat. Now, very clear. There is no there's no ambiguity left by Lord in his instructions. And in the just verse before, he said that yajna shishta shina santo muchyante sarva kilbishay. Pachate pagham papam मुचन्ते ते त्वघं पापम ये पचन्त्यात आत्म कारणात् ये पचन्त्यात आत्म कारणात्. So this is what we are supposed to do. And so this, so the naturally the crops when they grow, if you see the parjanyat anna sambhava, by rains the grains are grown, and when the grains crops are grown, um, if we don't cut those crops, be it wheat, wheat, jwari, basri, or any crop, when it becomes ready, if you don't cut it, it will just get dried out. Now it is meant for consumption. It is meant for consumption. The fruit falls from a tree. What will, if we don't consume it, what will happen to that fruit? It will just get dried out eventually. So it's just become wasteful. So it is meant for human consumption. Whatever is grown by Parjanya, rains, that is primarily meant for human consumption. Now there are many type of trees, plants which are there, which cannot live, which we don't have to cut, and still we can survive. So whatever the crops are cut, the fruits are cut, they're not meant for causing pain to the plant, but they will, in most cases, they will anyway perish. They will anyway get dried out, they will anyway get wasted. Hence, they are meant for human consumption. And we see the instructions for Krishna in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita as well, third chapter, 14th verse. Nobody will eat dead animals. On the contrary, a fruit has fallen, mango has fallen from the tree, guava, peru has fallen from the tree. Most people will run and eat that apple for when it's fallen from the tree. Newton picked up, and many people before Newton would have seen that and that apple falling, and they would have eaten that. Uh, but how many people will be willing to eat an animal they found dead on the street? How many people will be willing to eat animal which they found killed or dead on the street while they were walking? Nobody. Nobody will want to eat dead animal. They want to kill an animal in his most prime healthy condition and eat. It can't become more horrific than this. Nobody wants to eat an animal which is dead naturally. Prabhupada used to say that if anybody wants to eat meat, uh, they should find a dead animal and eat it. Not nobody will want to do that kind of a thing. But so what you do, um, you artificially uh, grow animals' flesh, and then when they are ready, when they are in their prime youth, you kill them, butcher them, and you kill them in such a scientific way, such a systematic way, that you are able to extract maximum flesh out of it. Such is a demoniac way in which nowadays the animals are being killed for satisfying the tongue. Uh, Another way is to understand is that to grow to feed the animal, we need much more quantity of grain. A plantation is required to feed an animal so that it becomes healthy enough to feed one human being. And whatever the plantation that animal consumes, that is sufficient to feed 50 to 20 people. So animal eat the plant, become fatty, and then feed one person. However, whatever the in order to make that animal that much fatty, whatever the green plantation that he consumes, now that is sufficient to if we plant proper trees there, if you use that for farming, that is sufficient to feed 15 people. So animal eating is completely unnatural to human being. Intuitive, last is intuitive. It is harvesting. Um, any one of you have witnessed harvesting in the farm is a function of is a function. It's a celebration. Everyone is happy. The nature is happy. Everyone in the farm is extremely happy before they harvest, before they cut the crop. And so there's a whole element of celebration associated with the harvesting. There's a festival season that is happening, versus animal slaughtering is a horrific sight. So if you have a child, small child, and there is an announcement in the school that tomorrow we will take your children to a nearby farm where they will be asked to cut few vegetables directly from the trees, and there will be nice cooking that will happen, and there the feast will be served to everyone. Like tomatoes, you can cut from the pluck from the trees, and then there will be a nice fire where they can be roasted, and then they can be cooked into a feast, and that feast everyone can have at the end of the day. Uh, Versus another announcement comes from the school that your child will be taken to a field trip where we will be taking them to a slaughterhouse where your child by her or his own hand will experience cutting neck of an animal, alive animal, and then it will be cooked in a fire, and there will be a feast at the end of that field trip. most hopefully more all of you will not send your children for the second field trip because intuitively, we find it horrific, we find it ghastly, and hence, so neither scientifically, neither naturally, nor intuitively, we want to be eating meat. We want to be eating dead animals, and hence, we shouldn't be doing that. Prabhupada takes this a little further. The right side picture, the left side picture is that of Vishaka Devi Dasi cooking prasad, the Lord Krishna's prasad. The prasad is Prabhupada talks, don't want to make us vegetarian only. Don't want us to become, don't want to stop by becoming vegetarianism. So we are, ISKCON is not promoting vegetarianism. ISKCON is promoting prasadetarian. We want to make everybody prasadian or prasadetarian. We want everyone to get addicted to eating prasad. Now, what is prasad? Now, prasad is, Prabhupada writes in the purport, a human being is therefore required to recognize the quantity of the authority of the Supreme Lord and become his devotee. He must offer everything for the service, Lord's service, and partake only the remnants of food offered to the Lord. This will enable him to discharge his duty properly. In Bhagavad Gita 9.26, the Lord directly states that he accepts vegetarian food from the hands of a pure devotee. Therefore, a human being should not only become a strict vegetarian, but should also become a devotee of the Lord. Offer the Lord all his food and then partake of such prasadam or the mercy of God. Only those who act in this way can properly discharge the duties of human life. Those who do not offer their food to Lord eat nothing but sin and subject themselves to various types of distress, which are the result of the sin. 3.13. So Prabhupada is bringing up the point that we shouldn't just become vegetarian, we should become prasaditarian. The purpose of life is not just to avoid karmic entanglement. Now we are not, as a devotees, we are not so much worried about karma, the law of karma acting on us. We don't do this because there will be karmic entanglement. We'll get karmic reactions. For reactions, we will have to take birth. Even if we don't even want to do good karma, because there will be good reactions from taking, for experience, enjoying the reactions of good life, good karma. I will have to again take birth. So devotees don't become fearful. Devotees are not fearful about karmic reactions because they their purpose is not just avoiding karmic entanglement. Their purpose is to make Krishna happy. And for making Krishna happy, whatever it takes, they are prepared to do that. So uh, when we kill animals for eating, obviously there will be horrible karma that will incur and we will suffer because of that. If we kill plants to eat without offering, again we are incurring lesser sin, but it remains the sinful action anyway. So in many cultures, we have a tradition of saying thanks to God before eating in Christianity, and in many Islam also provide for that culture that there's a before you take food, thank God for putting that food in your plate, and that's nice. That's at least recognizing the role played by God in getting food on your table. So this thankfulness is not bad, but it is not sufficient because bhakti tradition take this to a completely different level. In Vedic culture, we don't only thank Krishna for giving us food, but we want to offer it back to him with love, with devotion. So saying that this whole thing is belonging to you alone. I have been your thief. I am the thief. I am stealing everything that is owned and controlled by you for my own personal consumption. So I have stolen this. Whatever grains are stored into your homes, those are stolen from Krishna. So when we want to consume those, it is better to offer them first to Krishna. We made them, we're offering it to you with love, with devotion, and for we understand that it belongs to you, and this is meant for your enjoyment. But I'm so unfortunate that I have got this for myself. So if you, but I'm offering it now back to you. If you wish, if you so wish, you take this. If you so wish, you allow it to remain in the plate, and whatever that remains, I will take it as a prasad. So this is the concept of prasad, that you recognize that the original enjoyer is Krishna, not you. And by love, with love, we are offering this back to Krishna, saying that you enjoy this good stuff. We prepared it for your enjoyment. And if you so desire, whatever you will leave in your plate is what we will eat. Now, now the this is what is offering. This is what is offering with love and devotion and consuming it, whatever is left over. So Prabhupada concludes by the whole this verse, the entire purport to this whole verse by this beautiful paragraph. We'll just read this and then we'll conclude this session. The root of sin is deliberate disobedience to the laws of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. The root of sin is deliberate disobedience to the laws of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. So when we want to reject Krishna's proprietorship, then we obviously act against the laws of nature and we incur sin. It's a very beautiful Prabhupada is mentioning. Disobeying the laws of nature or the order of the law brings ruin to a human being. And conversely, one who is sober, who knows the laws of nature and who is not influenced by unnecessary attachment or aversion, is sure to be recognized by the Lord and thus become eligible to go back to Godhead, back to the eternal home. So today we discuss about the first mantra of Sri Isopanishad, and the mantra speaks about Ishavasya Idam Sarvam. It's called, in general, it's called Ishavasya principle, which tell us that Ishwara is the owner and the controller of everything, the living and non-living. And Prabhupada quotes verse from 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 4th and 5th verse, where Krishna confirms this. Apart from para and apara, there is nothing in this world that we know of that exists. So everything that what we can see, think, and perceive belongs to Krishna. We ourselves belongs to Krishna. Our spouse and our family belongs to Krishna. Our home belongs to Krishna. Our bank balance belongs to Krishna. Gold in our jewelry box belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Our intelligence belongs to Krishna. Our degrees, educational degrees that what we have got, they belong to Krishna. So rejecting this concept is a root cause of our problem. And by accepting this concept, by accepting this proprietorship of Krishna, when we act and then we act according in harmony with the instructions given by Krishna, we can live a peaceful life and attain the aim of our life at the end of our life. Aim of our life is to stop the repeated cycle of birth and death by attaining Krishna. So this Ishavasya principle will take us further in the subsequent verses, where we will discuss next Sunday. If we live according to the principle of Ishavasya, by recognizing the ownership, proprietorship of Krishna, what benefit we get, and if we don't do that, then what harm we get, and then we will move further with our discussion on the Isopanishad. So we'll stop here. We'll see if there are any questions about today's topic that we'll discuss, or else we can continue today's session.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Once in detail, you took it so wonderfully. And very wonderful points you took up. Like, there are at times confusion with when we talk with the people in the materialistic world outside, that how, why not to adopt communism and that capitalism. You wonderfully brought out the point with that aspect as well. Means at times these are also required, as you often explains, that to tackle with the materialistic world, and we should be equipped with these kind of good knowledgeable weapons, that to have why our varnashram system, why we are following, is better than what is existing in the materialistic world. And then you took us to the tour of Bhagavad Gita 7.4 and 5, which elaborately explains us that everything is the manifestation of Lord, everything is part and parcel of Lord. So, and we are just the temporary caretaker of whatever is in the possession of ours. And you console us with this wonderful thing, that whatever is of our quota will definitely come to us, and we should remain dependent on Lord and try to enhance our dependency on more and more on Lord, and that is the cause of happiness for ourselves. And in between, I was reminding myself that in one of the session, His Holiness Swami Bhagwan Keshav Swami Maharaj quotes, and one devotee, rather His Grace Narottam Priya Prabhuji quoted this. Then one of the devotee was uh, used to mention that he was the priest in some of the temple. I am forgetting the name of the Iskon temple, and used to say that don't take the illusion very seriously. The whole lot of world miserable or happy conditions, whatever coming, is a site of illusion, and don't take it very seriously, and inch closer to Krishna by performing devotional service. So thank you very much for all this. You took us on the tour of actually Bhagavad Gita. I was thinking so many verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita that you taught us in a wonderful manner, that how we can inch more and more closer to Krishna, and how we can enhance our loving devotional service to Lord Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful endeavors. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Puri, for all your wonderful works. They're all meant for our senior duties in shared that. Not, they're not, I'm not worthy of those works, but nevertheless, that's it on behalf of Lord and God. So if there are no other questions, let's conclude today's session, and we'll meet next Sunday with continue with the discussion of the second and third verse of
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Krishna
Dandavat
Song.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. You have a question already?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.